Hey y'all, Austin here with Outer World Media. Welcome back to another book review. This isn't any ordinary book review though. This is a co-review with Faceless Book Reviews. I think I've told y'all this a couple times before in the last few videos, but you know what? Let's go over it again. He sent me an invite to do a co-read slash co-review, and I said, you know what? I'd absolutely love to. I mean, when I created this channel, I wanted to interact with other people, in the comments and whatnot, as well as other channels. And I was jumping at the bit to accept that invite when he sent it my way. And he was nice enough to let me pick out the book. And so, he's like, hey, we agreed, let's give it a couple months and then kind of decide from there. And I kind of think he was thinking I was going to go with a Louis L'Amour. And I'll be honest with y'all, I thought I was going to as well. But then somehow, some way, this book came across my mind. I'm not sure if I was thinking about this or the movie that stars John C. Reilly and Joaquin Phoenix, and I think Jake Gyllenhaal, if I'm not mistaken. I hadn't heard anything really about it. I just know that Arrow Video released a 4K special edition, and that's probably why it crossed my mind. I know this is kind of a more recent Western novel. The most recent one that comes to mind, outside like your William Johnstones and whatnot. I believe this came out, I've been telling y'all, like 2016, 2017. No, like 2011 or 2012. So it's a little bit of an older book. It's over 10, 12 years old at this point. But I got to thinking, I haven't really heard anything about this book or the movie, so let's give it a try. See if I enjoy it and see if he enjoys it as well. So when I told him about it, he no hesitation. He was like, hey, let's do it. Let's try to pan for this month and whatnot. And I got the wheels in motion and the gears going to get this review up and running, I guess. So without any more delay, let's get into it. The Sister Brothers by Mr. Patrick Dewitt. This is a book. I'm not even really sure how to start this review. I guess I'll just kind of start off with the first little bit of the book, and the kind of along the way. We start off meeting Charlie and Eli's sister, the Sister Brothers, from the main title, if you can't tell. They work for the Commodore. Keep wanting to say Commander, and I don't know why. I guess I just don't hear Commodore that often. But essentially, they work for him. They are, hired guns, hitmen, whatever, however you want to say it. This does take place in the Old West. Starts off in Oregon City, up there in the great state of Oregon. I am originally from Oregon, so anytime there's a book that takes place there or references that state or anything in there, I always enjoy seeing that, my home away from home, if you will. But we start off in Oregon City, and essentially, when this book opens up, we're introduced to Charlie and Eli. We find out their last job didn't go as well planned as they had anticipated or wanted. They end up getting new horses out of it, and I'm going to start off by saying you would think a horse wouldn't be that important to a story. That could be further from the case in this book. The horses do end up becoming pivotal in the story, as far as that goes. But like I said, Eli and Charlie, they're starting off accepting a job from the Commodore. He essentially wants them to go down to Sacramento and kind of collect something from someone that has stolen from him, and kind of just do away with the asset, if you will. And so that kind of starts off, where we're going to go. We're going to follow them along on this trip. We end up meeting everything from, hotel owners to dentists to crying random men, to Indians to miners to outlaws to thieves to fur trappers. I mean, we meet quite a bit of an extensive cast in this book. Kind of detail or detour, if you will, away for a minute, just to kind of go over the relationship between Charlie and Eli. You have a older brother relationship there. We can tell that they're kind of opposites. One of them, I'm not going to say who because I don't really want to spoil the book or any big details that's not kind of included in the back of this or in the blurb. One of them is hot-tempered, quick-tempered, hot to trot. Think their crap doesn't sink. They're alcoholic. There's something going on there that, as the book goes on, we find out a little bit more, possibly why they are the way they are. And then you have the other brother who is more, he's a heavier set fella, husky. He's not overweight, but he's husky. He's a little bit bigger boned, if you will. He's following his brother because you have that older, younger brother dynamic. I am the oldest out of my siblings, and I kind of feel because, an older brother is supposed to set an example, a good example, kind of help you along the way and whatnot, and that's not necessarily the case with this book. But as this book goes along, we're introduced, like I said, to, multiple characters and whatnot. My favorite minor character, in all honesty, in this book probably has to be the dentist. I don't know why. That just is the way that's the way the cookie crumbles, if you will. We're introduced to brushing our teeth in this book. Not something I thought I would read in a Western book. But you know what? It was a kind of a nice little side note in this story. It's not that long a book. I think it comes in about 300, so barely over 300 pages. But we travel and cover a lot of ground in this book. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like I said, this is a Western book, but it's anything from your typical Western book. So, for example, let me get a book here real quick. Sorry. You have your Louis L'Amour books. Pretty much, for the most part, it's cut and dry. You have your good guy, you have your bad guy. That is not the case with this book. While this, Louis L'Amour, Zane Grey, most Western novels that you read can kind of be black and white as far as the characters go. Again, you have your good guys, you have your bad guys. That could be further from the case with the Sister Brothers. This is a very dirty, grimy, dingy, sorry, I can't speak, dingy book. This is a very reality-based Western. I've been trying to save, how I feel about this book till the end. I really like this book, except for one thing, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in this review. I really enjoyed this book quite a bit. It was a nice, refreshing change in reading a Western, going from, again, cut clean, good, bad guy. Not in this case. This is one, the characters are faced with morally challenges as far as, I think we should do this, but we're going to do this instead kind of thing. Nobody in this book is necessarily a good guy, nor a bad guy. It's very, very realistic, I guess is the best way to put it. If you're a fantasy fan, you love reading fantasy books, it's very grimdark as far as that goes. Again, this book, I really liked it. Just going to kind of throw this out there. As you read along this book, you kind of start to see that, anything that could happen or that can go wrong does. It's the Old West. And I think that's what I really liked about this book was, back in the old days, now it's romanticized. The Old West, cowboys rode in, saved the day. That was not the case. Just about anything could have killed you back in the Old West. Spider bite, snake bite, Indians, thieves, robbers, townspeople. In this book, we get to see a duel. It's pretty awesome. Everything that the author fits in this book, but how much reality-based this book is. Again, I have not read a Western that's quite like this one. That's not good, that's not bad. Depending on how you look at things and what kind of, taste you have in books, I think quite a few people that maybe they're not even Western fans, I think they would enjoy this book. The best comparison that I have for this book, and it's going to sound crazy, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's kind of my comparison for this book, and The Road. by Cormac McCarthy. I know a lot of people are probably scratching their heads, or y'all are saying, what the hell are you talking about? What I mean by that is, in the road, and again, it's been since high school since I've read the book, the man and the boy, nothing good happened. Something that would be normal or they stumble across would kind of prolong it, and then something bad would happen. And that's kind of what happens to the characters in this. I mean, from tooth infections to spider bites to, Indians to shootouts, all kinds of stuff. But the way the author writes this book, you are in their mind, just trying to see how they're, dealing with certain things and coping with life and, the deck or the hand that life has dealt them out of the deck and whatnot. And the reason I say Texas Chainsaw Massacre is because the way the author writes this, when you're not inside, one of the brothers' heads, it feels dark and grimy and dingy. It feels like you're watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, it feels like you're watching this, but you're recording it along the way as they travel to go to Sacramento and whatnot. Again, I really, really enjoyed this book. The only issue that I really had with this book was the ending. That is the only issue that I really had with this book. The way it ended, it felt like it was the middle of a chapter. I wish he would have done like an epilogue or something like that. Not necessarily to tie it up and wrap everything and make it, everything worked out perfectly or anything like that. But just a better way to wrap this book up. Or if he not even written that last chapter and just ended the chapter before, I'd have been happy with it. This book probably would have ranked higher than what it will for me. When I originally thought about this, I was going to give this about a 6 or 7 out of 10, probably a 7. But the more I think on this book, I got to give it like an 8. This is such a great book. It's really underrated. I like the book enough that I went and ordered the movie on Amazon to watch it. I'm hoping to do a kind of a compare and contrast of the book and the movie. Yes, I did order the Arrow Video 4K edition just because I really hope that it's like the book. The only thing is I hope the ending is a little bit better than this book. But again, guys, it was a great read. I enjoyed it. I mean, I read the first, and there's intermissions in this book, which is really nice. I read the first 100 pages in one sitting, one night. I picked it up and just blew through the book. I had to actually pace myself and only allow myself to read 50 pages, maybe 60 pages a day to try to make sure I didn't read it like that, because I knew it wasn't going to be till Thursday or today that we reviewed this. Speaking of the reviews, go check out Faceless Book Reviews channel. His review of this came up this morning. It was posted. I have not checked it out myself. I am hoping he enjoyed it. If he did or didn't, you know what? He gets to pick the next co-review out either way. I'm hoping he liked this, though, so that way he'll let me pick out another book to co-review with him later on down the road. Again, guys, I would really recommend picking this book up. Like I said, the only issue I really had with this was the last chapter. But you know what? Don't let that deter you. This is a really good book. Like I said, you get to see just about everything in the Old West. The only thing that's not in this book is wagon trains. But even then, there's no need for it in this. That's the only thing, though, I can think of that was not in this book. I mean, again, and the amount of characters that we come across in this book, I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed my journey with the Sister Brothers, and I really hope there's a sequel. I doubt that's the case. I doubt the author will come out with a sequel, but if he does, I probably will read it on day one. But again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you get the chance, pick up the Sister Brothers. I just checked earlier before I started recording this. The book's like $6 or $7 on Amazon. It's half price from what I paid. I paid like $14 or $15 for this book. I'm still happy that I paid that price because it's such a good book. I highly recommend. Go out there, pick up the book. Go to your local library, check out your used bookstores, and pick up this book. I will be honest with y'all. I will be picking up the hardcover of this book. Unless someone out there is feeling generous enough to give me one, I will happily accept that. If the author's out there, if you have a spare copy, send one my way. Another issue I have, and it's a nitpick, I don't like this now in major motion picture. I don't like that on there. If that was gone, I'd be happy with this. with this cover. But again, guys, that's a way to tell you that I really enjoyed a book, is if I'm willing to go pick up another copy or hardcover of the book. Again, guys, I do appreciate every single one of y'all that stopped by to watch this video. If this is your first time checking out this video or my channel, go look at my other videos. Even if you don't subscribe to the channel, I'm just happy to have somebody watch my videos, so I get the chance to do reviews like this one on such a great book. Again, I want to thank y'all. Y'all have a good one.